Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Coming up tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, we'll look at the weather across the country, which is pretty much on the quiet side from coast to coast. And we'll take a look at the weekend and the long range. That's tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. And as we look at watches and warnings around the country, nothing much in the east, a few coastal flood advisories with the last of the onshore flow in parts of Delaware and southeastern Virginia, as well as southern New Jersey. That'll go away as the winds will be turning around to a different direction tonight and Thursday. In the west, we still have some heat advisories and excessive heat warnings in Arizona and in much of coastal California from south to north, including San Francisco and Los Angeles. But other than that, no watches, no warnings, no nothing. And the only feature that we really have of importance here, relatively speaking, is a cold front that is moving eastward across the northeast, and it's bringing in some cloud cover. That cloud cover extends south into Virginia and also southwestward into West Virginia and parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. But everywhere else from coast to coast is really experiencing a very, very nice day indeed. Radars are extremely quiet. The only issues are going on, and minimally so, in upstate New York and in central Pennsylvania. We have some very light sprinkles or showers showing up. Some of this stuff is not even reaching the ground, a little bit heavier as you head further north up into eastern Canada. And that's it. The rest of the country, radars are just about free and clear. A little bit of action going on in northern Minnesota and over Lake Superior. We've got a very quiet weather pattern that we're dealing with. Here's the next cold front. It's very weak. It's pretty much just going to slide through and dissipate as it does so, and then higher pressures will be building in from the west. The air behind the front is just about as warm as the air ahead of it, so there won't be a real change in temperature. If anything, because that we'll have some more sunshine from Thursday and Friday, temperatures will actually be a little higher. The remnant upper low and the remnant of the complex that was Hurricane Helene is well out to the east now and continues to move east. It'll actually slide southeastward in time. And then the rest of the country is just about uh, high pressure or weak pressure patterns that go back into Southern California. And there's a weather front up in the Pacific Northwest, which is why the northwestern part of the country is a little bit cooler than the Southwest. No severe weather is forecast anywhere and over the next 7 days, and thunderstorm activity is at a minimum. And take a look at the 7-day rainfall forecast. The vast majority of the country is going to see no precipitation over the next 7 days. New England, a half to three quarters, with a few cold fronts moving through. Florida, because Florida will be in the alleyway of tropical moisture that'll be building up in the Gulf of Mexico, but it barely reaches the Gulf Coast. And we don't have any tropical storms really or hurricanes to worry about going forward. So it's the next high building in. Thursday and Friday look good. There's a weak cold front that's going to come through Friday night into Saturday, early Saturday, maybe a shower or two Friday night. Then Saturday and Sunday look dry. And then here comes another cold front that arrives sometime Sunday night with another chance for maybe a couple of showers. And behind that, there'll be a slightly cooler air mass. Actually, it'll be significantly cooler in upstate New York and up in northern New England. Yeah, that's blue, indicating some snow shower activity in northern Vermont and New Hampshire. But again, notice that the country from east to west, hardly any precipitation. And lower than normal pressures will be in the Gulf of Mexico. However, upper air conditions are relatively hostile for tropical storm development. So that's why you don't see the models really generating very much. And in fact, over time, with higher pressures building into the east, much of that in the Gulf of Mexico winds up shifting to the south. So we're kind of in typical October weather here, which is the driest month of the year for many areas in the eastern part of the United States. It's also the month where you see the most number of days with clear skies. We do have Hurricane Kirk way out in the Atlantic. That'll be a major hurricane probably by tomorrow morning, and that's going to pass between Bermuda and the Azores and recurve out to the northeast. We also have a new tropical depression behind it, and this will become a hurricane too. Leslie will be the name. It's about 350 miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, and this one too is going to recurve and move out into the open waters of the Atlantic. So we have no tropical worries, thankfully. The models were trying to generate another hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico and a threat to the southeast back about a week ago. That is off the table. So don't forget tonight, the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you then.